And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our third match of the night. Welcome back to our TVZ, another TVZ between Cure and Serral. Another winner's match here between these two players. The winner, of course, will advance on into the playoffs. The loser will have to play again in the next round. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Korean Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player, Serral, for Team Basilisks. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets. Predictions open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. Again, Serral is coming in as arguably the best Zerg player in the entire world, not just Europe, but in all regions. Cure likewise coming in as one of the best Terran players in all of South Korea. Has been leveling up for a long time. Cure has been known for his TVP, but can he bring it out here in his TVC as he's going for a proxy? Cure going for a 2-Rax opener, pulling a bit of a Clem. Okay, we've been speaking about how Cure and Clem have been actually doing quite a bit of custom games together, and they've been learning from each other and building upon their TVT. That is true. This is a build that Clem was whipping out a couple of days ago, and Cure's whipping it out as well. So this is 2-Rax Reaper, but with a twist. One of the Raxes is proxied, which means the 2-Rax Reaper does get across the map slightly faster. You get a little bit more momentum on your side, and you can get potentially a little bit more damage as a result. Boy, here we go. So Cure already spicing things up here in game number 1 against Serral, and we'll see if he can snowball out of control with this. As Serral's going to be coming with an Overlord Scout, he's going to be confirming the Rax on the low ground. He sees the lack of second Rax. For all Serral knows, Cure could be going for a Rax expand into a factory, which is a build. It is a special build. Bjorn does it, Maru does it, Clem does it. They sprinkle it into their series, so this doesn't look too suspect as the CC is going to be on the way. This CC, I believe, is delayed, though. It is a delayed command center, so that should be ringing a few alarm bells here for Serral, as the Reaper is going to be dipping in. It does slide into that main base. Second Reaper has arrived. Now the jig is up. Serral is aware of what's going on. Ooh, and a lot of these things are in some trouble here. We do force out a Spore. So far, we haven't lost a drone yet. But a good trade nonetheless. A lot of Lings are falling. Ooh. Did we get the drone? Not quite. Clutch moves there out of Cure. He does pull back in time. Doesn't get any workers, but he did kill a lot of Lings. So good trade so far by Cure. He's going to be reinforcing with more Reapers. He has a third, soon to be a fourth Reaper as well. He's checking for the third base. And remember, this is all he wants. He wants to trade against Lings and deny the third, while he expands behind this. Third is denied. Serral is being contained on 2 bases. This is good enough damage. Now, the big thing here is that Cure has to get back home soon. Link speed is on the horizon, and Cure has to make sure he doesn't lose these Reapers here for free. We're 10 seconds away. Third CC is on the way. It does get spotted by Serral. He's aware. He does know. Does scout that fast third. Reapers are racing back home just as Link speed finishes. So again, good game sense out of Cure. He's aware of the timings. He's aware of when he is safe, when he isn't. So he will escape, he will get back home with those Reapers, he'll be safe against a Link counterattack. So really strong opener so far out of Cure. Meanwhile, Serral should be going for a third base, but it is quite delayed. There we go, drones are on the way. Cure has a better economy right now compared to Serral. He's up in workers, he has mules. And he's getting into his third. Now what's important is that at least Serral is aware of the third base, so he knows it's not a 2-base all-in. He knows that Cure isn't doubling down on any kind of aggression here. So Serral knows he's safe to drone and make queens. Hellions do reveal themselves. Serral gonna have to back off. Ooh, Roach Warren gonna be on the way. Okay. I think this makes a lot of sense. If you're contained on 2 bases for so long, we can be larva efficient. It's not supply efficient, but larva efficient here with roaches. Just to make sure that we have enough to survive and to deflect these Hellions. A very safe way to play. Very safe here by Serral. And again, this mindset makes a lot of sense. I'm sure Serral, all he wants is to get into a third and a fourth base economy. He's like, just get me into the mid game, and I can just flex my macro skills. I can get into a comfortable position. I just need to survive. Behind this, Cure getting into a 3cc 2-1-1. Stim is on the way. We have Hellions for map control. Liberator on the horizon as well. Cure looking for that third. Doesn't come across it, as it was thrown down elsewhere. Lair is going to be on the way. Mineral line looking a little bit exposed. Roaches are popping out just in time. But roaches are slow, so Curie could manage to get into that mineral line. He could hit that third base. But that's a lot of Hellions. Armory is on the way, by the way. Very fast armory here by Cure, which means he is going for a Stim Hellbat push. Oh boy. You will have access to those Hellbats. 1-1 about to start off for Cure as well. Liberator dipping into that natural. Is going to rotate around. Liberator sieging up behind the mineral line in the main. Observer pointing out that armory that we mentioned before. Again, fast Hellbat's going to be available with the bio push. Now, this does mean that Cure has to be very careful with these Hellions. We don't want to throw them away. We want to make use of that armory. He's going to be threatening, yes, but he shouldn't be committing until he gets his Marines. So let's pull back. There we go. Marines are on the way. Drop is upon us. The pressure is on, and we'll see if Serral can keep up here with the aggression of Cure. So far, so good. It's going to be 1-1 +1 range on the way for Serral, so he's going to be committing a little bit harder to Roach Ravager to begin with. Hellions, one of them does go down, queued into the third base. We have Lings in the main base as well. 1 drone, 2 drones go down. We do get some damage done. But so far, the defense from Serral looking solid. Protecting the main and the third at the same time. Ooh, as I say that, the queens are exposed. Queen's going to be going down. We do force a cancel on that fourth base. Good pickoffs here by Cure. Yeah, good focus firing as well. Cure, he doesn't deal the crippling damage that he wanted, but damage nonetheless. Also, that's a second armory on the way. Wait. That's intentional. With the first armory, Cure, he's getting +1 vehicle weapons, which means he knows that he has an armory, but he's getting a second armory. I'm a little bit perplexed. I'm curious. At first, I thought the second armory was a mistake, that we forgot the first one, but no, I mean, we have +1 vehicles, so my eyes are on Cure. I wonder if that's intentional. Yeah, the observer pointing out both armories as well. No shot we start up 1-1, right? No shot. But now Cure going to be backing up, getting into his 2-2 upgrades. Hydra Den is done. So it's going to be Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker out of Serral. He's getting ready for a very robust army. It's not very maneuverable, it's not very flexible, but does have a lot of potential if we can get into those Lurkers. Meanwhile, we can see that the second army isn't doing anything. We're good. Second army isn't doing anything. There is a second factory on the way, but that's normal at this stage. To get into a 4-base setup, second factory is required. So it looks like that second armory was just a bit of a slip up there. Okay, that's okay. Cure is going to be moving out. So avoid those fungals. Fungals are available here for Serral. Cure still just building himself up. He was able to gain some value earlier, but he's respecting this army quite a bit. Hasn't thrown anything away. Basically, Cure, he's building up towards one big push. The tanks are just building up back at home. The Lurker Den is on the way, though. This is the thing, like, because of Serral's playstyle here, because of his build, rushing into these Lurkers, they're going to be out in time for the first push. Now, they will be Lair Tech Lurkers, like, they won't have the Hive upgrades, but they're still going to be Lurkers nonetheless. We're going to be able to hold the line. There it is, 6 Lurkers in production. Lurker range now on the way as well with that Hive. Serral, he's getting away with rushing into this tech. He is getting away with it. For the time being, we see Cure going for a tri-pronged attack. We have the main army pushing right through the center. We have a drop on the right-hand side. We have a drop towards the left as well. The armies are going to be clashing. So far, decent start out of Cure. Does shave off some of those units. Double drop into the main base. Serral, is he in position? Looks like he is with Lings. Yeah, Lings will force him back. Good start there by Serral. Yeah, Lurkers, they are in position. And Serral's defenses, they aren't budging. Not yet. Not yet. Couple of bars going to be connecting. The tank taking some hits. Marines pushing from the left-hand side. Ooh, a lot of Ravagers do overextend. The Buggles. They connect with the Medivacs. No, with the Marines. Clutch pickup there. Hot pickup out of Cure. And he's trying to pull Serral apart. So far, unable to. Whilst the Marines, they just step on forward. Ooh, that was not ideal, though. We take a lot of spines to the face. Cure taking a lot of damage there. Overextending against the Lurkers. There it is. Ghosts are going to be on the way. Soon to be Liberators as well. Triple jump into the main. Oh, triple jump into the main. And we do get a medevac going down. A full medevac at that. Cure, this push is not worth it. We're bleeding out a lot of units. And if Cure doesn't leave soon, he's going to be losing everything. Like, he's bleeding out a bit too much. Again, only a handful of tanks here on top of the ramp. Serral will soon be getting ready to break out. He's going for a big counterattack as well. Oh, that's going to be a kill, not a cancel on the CC. 400 minerals down the drain. Lurkers chipping away at this base. Out of range of the tanks. SCVs are going down. Oh, yeah, a lot of workers at that. Here we go. Dropper Lords on the way as well. Serral going for his own drop harass. I'm still concerned about this army from Cure. I'm still concerned that we're overstaying our welcome, but we'll see. So another tank is going to be falling. We're down to one tank. With one tank, we got to get the hell out of here, right? Like, Cure. There we go. He's pulling it back. Thankfully. So Cure, he returns home. Doesn't lose his army. At the same time, we have a Doom drop into the main base of Cure. That's a lot of Lunkers. The Vikings! Vikings are in position. We catch some of these Dropper Lords. The one Dropper Lord does go down. Thankfully, the Lurkers did survive, but good positioning out of Cure. It's working towards 3-3. And what's important here is that Cure did retain a lot of his army. He did keep most of his army alive. He lost Marines, he lost drops, that is true, but he did bleed out some tanks, but, you know, was able to retain his army overall. Ghosts are on the way. There's that fusion core for Liberators, 2 more starports, plus 1 ship weapons as well. So overall, a good setup by Cure. I'm worried this is too late though. Like, these ghosts and these libs, they are delayed here for Cure because he was committing so much to his tank push. The tank push that failed. Which is why Serral is one step ahead with his army. He is one step ahead. He rotates around. He goes straight for the planetary. Cure's out of position, and this base, it's going to go down. Massive spine shots go off. The planetary falls in a matter of seconds. Even a big volley on the army as well. Good pick off out of Serral. He can just back off, rotate around. Nanoswarms are being set up. Serral taking one of Cure's bases, being so proactive here. Expanding as he attacks. The swarm's going to be finishing just so we can evacuate. We do snipe one lurker in the end, but only one, as the lurkers do get out. Vipers are on the way. And Serral has a decent economy. It's not ideal. He's still at 73 drones. Still does have a bit of a more super maxed army instead. But the quality is still there. As we rotate over towards the left-hand side, we do rock up. The Ghosts not quite in position. There are only a handful of them here. And once again, we're going for the Planetary. The Planetary is going to fall, as well as half the Mineral Line. 7 SCVs go down. At the same time, Lurker aggression on the right-hand side, and Cure is being pulled apart. Losing far too much. Against Serral, he's not committing with his army. He's not fighting the main army of Cure. He's just going for the economy. He's going for the fringe bases. Going for the workers, going for the CCs. And he's getting them. Tanks are within range. Serral gonna have to back off for a moment. Nidus Swerve is in production to try to evacuate. So far, one Lurker went down. Only one so far. And he escapes with the rest. Clean moves here out of Serral. Does slip away. Oh, as I say that, does get surrounded. We'll be losing one more Lurker. 2 more Lurkers even. Serral here arrives with the rest of his army, this time with Vipers. Yoinking Ghosts of all things. Very high value pickups. Energy for Ghosts. And with that Cure, he's just stuck at home, stuck at 63 workers. Doesn't have an ideal army yet. And even though Cure is refining his army, even though he's getting into more Liberators, he's getting into more Ghosts as well, like his army quality is getting better, that is true. But his economy is not suffering. And it means that Cure is going to have one fight in him. Like, he has no gas in the bank. Serral has so much in the bank for both minerals and gas. He's just rolling in all that money right now. Expanding, taking the entire map, in full control of this game. And Cure, he's just stuck at home. He's perpetually stuck at home. I also appreciate that Serral isn't resting on his laurels. What I mean by that is Serral, he started up a Spire. I believe he has a Greater Spire, and now he has +1 air attack on the way. So he's getting ready for potentially Broodlords. If he needs to go into Broodlord Infestor, he has the tech for it. So basically, once the Lurkers are dealt with, he can transition out of that into something more refined. Meanwhile, Nuke's going to be turned down. We do catch a tank. Nuke is going to be connecting. Serral, no reaction. He doesn't see. Big Nuke here in the center of the map. 10 workers go down. Good Nuke here. Out of Cure. He is pulling Serral back. Again, Serral just wasn't able to find that in time, and we have another Nuke on the way. Cure, he isn't out of this yet. Not out of this yet. Here as he attempts to take top right. Yeah, Nuke is being set up towards the bottom left. Nidus is going to be on the way, but we are ready for it. Oh, we don't commit. Oh my god. Infestor like pokes his head out, then dives back in. Lurkers are being caught out on the right hand side as well. These are good trades here for Cure. Catching more Lurkers. Speaking of, Serral, he does reinforce. He does hold onto that base. Another Nuke here towards the bottom left. Hopefully Serral does catch it this time. He's looking. He does see. Does see in time. Does notice. Does pull away. You can see there Serral very quickly rotating between his bases, looking for the Nuke. Liberation zones have arrived, forcing back those Lunkers. And even though Cure, he's been, shaving off some Lurkers here and there, and he's been maintaining control of his side of the map, he's still been trading. He's still been losing Ghosts. Which is why Cure still doesn't have a bank. Like, these trades have still been worth it for Serral. There it is now, +1 air carapace on the way for Serral. Not making 4 lives at a time. But again, as we mentioned, once the Liberator count gets out of control, and at this point it is, I mean, look at all the freedom, Papi. This should force a Sky transition, basically. Like, the era of the Lurker is coming to an end, and we should be working towards Corruptors and Broodlords. We can't push into this. It's not happening, Bobby. It's not happening. At least a ground army can't push into that. Now, what's important here is that, remember, Serral, he's been avoiding the main fight For the past 10 minutes, Serral, he has been avoiding the main army the entire time. There has been no big engagement. He's just hitting these fringe bases. And once again, this position is exposed. There we go. Tanks going to be going down. There are only 2 Liberators here, and we bring it down to the Liberators, bring down the tanks and the CC. A good trade for Serral. And as he trades out the Roaches, what do we replace it with? Corruptors. There it is. 17 Corruptors in production. Plus 2 air attackers on the way because we were already working on those upgrades ahead of time. You can see Serral just trading out the Roaches into Corruptor. To a better army to deal with these libs. And again, Serral, he had a bank for this transition as well. He is still in control. At the same time, all the drones... Some of them will escape, others not so much. As Lurker's going to be denying top right. Center base for Serral is going to be knocked down. Center right even. I appreciate that Serral is still gaining value with those Ravagers. We'll lose them, but still getting quite a bit done. Managed to get 5 SCVs here towards the top right. Ultra Cavern on the way. I would have liked a second Spire just to prioritize these air upgrades a little bit better. And to get into 2-2 and then 3-3 a lot faster. We'll see if the upgrades of Serral are able to sustain himself. He's able to keep up. Liberator's going to be working up here, denying at the top left. Serral rotating over. With mainly these Corruptors, they can deal with these Libs. Libs go down. Vikings as well. Good catch from Serral. He also just checked the triangular third base location. He saw that it wasn't mining. Getting another Liberator. Oh my, another 2. Curie is being picked apart here. Bleeding out Libs. As another Liberator is going to be falling. Another 2 even as Curie's being forced back by the Ling Bane. The Ghosts are going to be shut down. Curie's out of position with his main army. Wasn't set up with his Liberators either. Again, Curie hyperfixated on getting back into Mass Ghost. Going to be pushing on forward here. We do come across one of these bases. Now, essentially, Curie should be working towards Mech. It should be basically like Mech Ghost. Talking about like Lib, Tank, Thor Ghost. The Thor is going to be quite crucial against the would-be Corruptors and Broodlords. For now, still stuck on a bio-based army. It's just having a hard time engaging, really. Engaging with the Ling Bane. At least no Broodlords yet. But here we go. We just dive on forward anyway. We catch even more Liberators. Before pulling back. And Curie's just being pulled apart at this point. And basically, like, Curie, he's been stuck turtling, but he hasn't been able to turtle well here. Like, there's just been so many vulnerabilities. He's left so many, like, positions here exposed, and Serral has been doing such a great job exploiting those positions as well. Just rotating back and forth. Curie never quite where he needs to be. Does catch some Banelings. We'll take down this base. Like, again, to reiterate, for the past, I want to say 15 minutes, we haven't had a big fight. Like, the main armies have not clashed between both Curie and Serral. Serral has been harassing for 15 minutes, just like poking left and right, always going for bases and then backing off. And Curie's had enough. He's had enough at this point. As I say that, some of these Libs are once again looking a bit exposed. And power bombs are thrown down. Here we go. Now, Serral, he can collapse on the army, collapse in this position. He does roll on in with mass Ling Bane Ultra Corruptor. And there's just too much on the ground, too much on the sky. And Serral cleans this up. Shuts down every single Liberator. A couple of Ghosts do survive, but we can remax on Pure Ling. Like, pure Ling Bane is enough to deal with this. We don't need any more Ultras, don't need Lurkers or Broodlords at this point. So he cleans up the army, and that's all that Cure had. That's what he was building up towards. Now these Corruptors, yeah, they can have their way with the production. Get a Rax, gonna get a second Rax, gonna get a Starport, more importantly. They're pushing in, but at this point, yeah, Serral, he can go for these big fights. Goes for the dive, catches more of these ghosts. Collapses on this army. Corruptor's gonna be able to clean up everything in the sky. No more no more Liberators remaining. Nothing in the air whatsoever. Good splits out of Cure, but I'm waiting for the Broodlords. At this point, there's nothing left in the air. We can go for a Broodlord transition. So, gonna be respecting this army. Does back up. I mean, he's just focusing on more Ultras. I mean, fair enough. fair enough. Just going into Ultras, going into Lingbane. Just going for a bit of a cruise in the main base. Just having a bit of a gander. What's going on? Yeah, at this point, again, Curie's just been picked apart time and time again. The third base goes down. Corruptors once again camping the main, looking for any kind of stray Skytoss units. So Sky Terran unit even. Did we catch a mineral line? Good pick up. 15 workers will go down. We catch some of these Corruptors as well. Done by Cure. The Corruptors did escape. Serral going for a counterattack. No! We can't save this planetary. It's not gonna happen. The Banes, they crash on in. They take down another base. Thankfully, Cure, he has a backup CC to land in that location. See Serral rotating over. Still maxed out, still working on 3-3. Yeah, Cure, he just cannot engage. Not anymore. He's just stuck at home. He's got a couple of turrets, no planetary. Couple of Corruptors do go down. We have a nuke on the left-hand side. We catch the Ghosts! Oh. Ghosts are going to be falling. Link main rolling in. That's a lot of Marauders. Can tank those Banelings. We can try at least when we get 15 SCVs. Oh my god. A nuke will connect with the base, not with the mineral line. Serral does evacuate. Oh, we're looking for a fungal. Uh-oh. The fungal! So waiting for reinforcements, waiting for Lings. So he's ready to catch the army. He's got the Infestors lying in wait. Nuke gonna be on the way. Show us the fungal! We just crash on in, and apparently we don't even need the fungal. We just roll in anyway. We connect with the army, with the ghosts, and we just shut everything down. It's a numbers game. There we go. We got a fungal towards the end. We didn't need it, but Serral will roll over the army, push towards that center base. And GG is going to be called. Serral looking strong, looking dominant, taking game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, Cure, it did feel like he was one step behind. Remember, he was building up towards this one big tank push across the map. It was quite impressive, actually. If you remember, Cure had a tri-pronged attack. He had a double drop on the left, he had a double drop threatening the main base, and he had the main push pushing towards the fourth. So we had like a tri-pronged attack set up here that Serral had to deal with. And Serral, he did. He was able to deflect the drop on the right-hand side. On the left, he was able to slow down the push in the center, and Serral dealt with it. And from that moment, it did feel like Cure was kind of one step behind. Like, Cure was banking up so much on that, and his transition into Ghost was delayed. His transition to Liberators was delayed as well. Serral was able to successfully rush into Lurker tech. If you remember, he went Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker Viper. Was able to rush into it, and when he did, he was just pulling Kira apart. Just took map control and made full use of it. Just sniping bases, sniping mineral lines left and right, and Kira just could not keep up. Could not keep up. The other thing I will say is that it did feel like Kira's army composition was very much so an active one. It was an army that's designed to be on the map, less so being stuck at home defending. We saw a similar dynamic between Maru and Serral. Fun fact, if you missed out on it, a couple of days ago we casted Maru versus Serral, and Maru was also just very much so just hyper-aggressive on this map, and Serral was having a hard time keeping up. But because Kira was stuck at home, I do think that we needed to adjust the army composition into a more tank-heavy style, into a more turtle-heavy style, just because Kira, on the one hand, was stuck at home, and because of his army, he wasn't really able to defend either. Like, nothing was going well there for Kira in that position. He was being pulled apart, and here we go. In the top right-hand corner, we have Kira for Team Liquid. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent, we have Serral for Basilisk. We go. As we are going to be settling into this. I'm surprised that Serral doesn't veto this map. Hard lead isn't really vetoed too often in this matchup. Like, usually the vetoes are Radisson Station, Equilibrium, 50-50 on site Delta, Golden Aura, that's vetoed. There are other maps that do prioritize vetoes in this matchup. Hard lead, you can be quite aggressive, but it goes both ways. And oh, speaking of being aggressive, here we go. Cure going for a 2x Reaper opener. Let's go. It's going to be his way to bounce back in this series. Meanwhile, Serral, oh my god. Let's go. Going gas first? I was just caught a bit off guard. I'm not... Okay. A very aggressive build here out of Serral, going gas first, gas pull into hatchery here from our Zerg player, rushing into gas. With this, we'll get really fast link speed. Fun fact, upon seeing the 2x Reaper opener, this could also lead into a Bane bust. Shin, historically, famously, Shin was very fond of going into Bane busts against 2x Reaper with a gas first opener. This was in the last map pool on maps like Neo Humanity, for example, on maps like Dragon Scales. And the Overlord is going to be dipping in. Link speed is on the way. Serral, I believe he has pulled out a gas. I believe he has. But really fast link speed out of Serral. And you can see the Lings are going to be skirting the edge of the map as well. I'm not too sure how much they can really achieve, but they will be avoiding these Reapers. As the Reaper does dip into the main. And Serral is coming back home with those Lings. Pulling back, I should say. I kind of like it though. Actually, I really love this actually. I love that Serral, he's keeping those Lings hidden. Remember, fast link speed. If he can hide these Lings successfully, then he can just come out of nowhere and surround these Reapers. Like, there is so much potential for like a trap to be set up by Serral with those active Lings. Again, link speed is merely seconds away. Cure, he did confirm the late hatchery, but he didn't quite get eyes on the gases. Link speed finishing up in 10 seconds. The Reapers, they do dip in. And Cure, he needs to get out of here. He needs to race back home. As Serral has map control. There we go. Link speed kicks in. Serral racing across the map looking for these Reapers. Cure, he knows. He's coming back. He's racing back home as fast as he can, and he should be able to make it. He will avoid those Lings. Will avoid them in the end. Behind this, Cure going for a third CC. So it's going to be a 3CC 1-1-1 setup. Oh, sorry, 3CC 2-on-1 setup. Very similar to what we've already seen. Cyclones are on the way to help support. Again, we did see a very similar build out of Clem against Dark. Cyclones are going to be amassing. It's only going to be 2 Cyclones into Hellions. Again, the Cyclones, their only purpose is for map control to shut down Overlords, to threaten Queens, and Serral is getting into his 3rd base. So the game is going to be settling from here. I do appreciate this. Once again, Serral is going into Roaches. Again, just a very safe way to open up. Going to be going for that Roach Warren. Cyclones have arrived. They will shut down that Overlord. And we will settle into this. I think the only one I see consistently vetoed is Equilibrium. I like how in your brain, Asher, you're Radisson Station. That's not even a factor. We're not. I'd say it's not a map. It's not a map. But I agree. Equilibrium is consistently vetoed. Not just against not just in TVZ. It's also very much so vetoed in most other matchups as well. Actually, alongside Radisson Station, Equilibrium is also another map that we really rarely get to see. Outside of WTL, of course. Outside of WTL. Behind this, Secure going to be retreating. Behind this, working towards Stim, of course. Getting into fast eBay, or getting into his eBay for +1. And Serral is building up here on his Roaches. Roaches will force this back. We do catch a couple of them though with the Cyclones. Up! We get 1, we get 2. Leagues then coming from behind. We're going for a surround as well. And we will catch at least one of those Cyclones. Wasn't a bad trade for Cure though. He did shave off a lot of Roaches. And he does barely escape with that Cyclone as well. Behind this, he's not done. We have Stim on the way, going for the double job. Going to be reinforcing here in the center of the map. Going for his drop play. And again, Serral did bleed out a lot of Roaches. He has to replace them. Does have to get them back up and running. You're going to be pushing towards the south. Going straight for the main base. Serral does spot this ahead of time. He's going to be able to react. But what does he have to work with? Yeah, he doesn't have much of an army. He does pull away his drones. A lot of lost mining time. And we dive into the main. The Roaches, once again, exposed. Here does pull back, gets into the mineral line. Serral, he's unable to keep up here. He's being pulled apart. Drones are falling left and right. The workers are lining up. The Marines, they just go toe-to-toe with the Roaches. Up, the Hellion, the volley. The volleys go off. 9 workers go down and counting. It's going to be 11 in total. Serral, he will clean this up. He will calm things down, but not before losing another couple of drones. Even with the Reapers here, 13 drones go down. Good amount of damage done here by Kira. And again, a lot of this off of the back of catching those Roaches in the center of the map. This should not have happened. This wasn't meant to happen. But Kira, he set himself up for success. Serral behind this, getting into Infestors, getting into 1-1. So just like the previous game, it looks like Serral is getting into Roach Ravager, followed by Hydras, followed by Lurkers. Looking to be the case with +1 range. As Curie is going to back off. Behind this, he's been building up his tank count, still only being active with his Marines, with his drop play. 1-1 on the horizon, we're working towards a 4th TC and a 2nd factory. So Curie just building himself up for the mid-game. Even catching an Overlord. Pretty good pickup. Overlord goes down, double drop towards the north. This time Serral is in position, but he's supply blocked. Ooh, 6 Overlord. Massive supply block for Serral. 6 Overlords on the way. Not like this. But Infestors are in position. We do land these bungles. We will shut this down. But the target firing. Oh my god. Despite the fungals, 8 drones get focused down. Very good target firing out of Cure. My god. And we only dealt with half the Marines. We still have a full medevac threading the natural base. We catch another Overlord in the center as well. Again, And Serral's on the back foot. Cure with the better economy. We're getting another drone. We're forcing more lost mine time as well. This drop play is getting out of hand. This is also the other downside of going Roach Ravager is your lack of anti-air. That's where the queens have to come in. That's where positional play is the most important here for the Roach player. But Serral being caught out far too many times. And here comes the kill move. Here comes the tank push from Cure. The 1-2 punch. It cripples the economy. Now he's coming in with the army. Can Serral hold? Now remember, he does have infestors. Like, fungals are going to be so crucial here in the defense. He needs these fungals to connect. He needs the vials to connect as well. Speaking of, medevac goes down. The vial out of Serral, slowing down the army. Fourth base has been spotted. The Ravager so far doing a good job here at just slowing down the siege push. Another tank gets picked up. Again, Serral has to just buy time here to max out. Cure pushing right through the center instead. Serral even getting ready for a counterattack here. Again, trying to force the army to turn back around. There we go. Reinforcements to quote out. The Marines do turn back. And Serral doing such a great job here, just buying time. Forcing a secondary wall. The Roaches once again bypassing the tanks again. Serral, he knows he cannot fight this head on. Just constant counterattacks. Hitting once again the third base. Getting some Marines, getting some Marauders. Forcing out a stim. And throughout all of this, we're getting into Ling Bane. Baneling speed is on the way. Adrenal. Hive is done. Ling Bane on the horizon. The Roaches are coming back in. We're not stopping. We're catching a tank? Oh my god. One tank goes down. The second tank goes down at the third base. Big pickoffs here by Serral. This should not be happening, and it's only pure Roaches. Vanilla Roaches here from Serral, and they're still just trading so well. Finally, they get cleaned up, but we distracted Cure. His attention was pulled apart. 2, 3, 4 tanks go down here on the front lines, resetting the tank count. Cure, he had so much momentum, but he has been pulled apart, and Serral is back in this. He is back in this at this point. Forcing Cure to back up. The Vipers on the way. 3-3. Those infestors are still lying in wait with plenty of energy as well. And Cure has to back up and get into his fifth base. We have a fifth on the way. We have Ghost production as well. But again, at this point, the momentum that Cure had from all that drop play earlier has kind of drifted away at this point. Has fallen by the wayside. And we spoke about the potential for lurkers. Now, we did go into Ling Bane first. We didn't rush into lurkers the same way we did in game number 1. But there's that Hydrogen. Hydrogen is on the way, and that should be eventually to work towards lurker tech. Or we could just stay Ling Bane Hydrogen, to be fair. It's not something that Serral is opposed to doing. As we're back to drop play. At this point, Cure can only rely on drop play here. Trying to be active, trying to stifle the creep. Serral working on a stick patchery even. Spire is on the way, Hydrogen. We do see Cure though committing to another push, this time with Ghosts. Yeah, and Serral is going to have to back off here. His army, half of it out of position, and going for a big counterattack. Once again, it forces Cure to back off. Oh my god. Cure a little bit indecisive there. He pulls back with his army, then he pulls back across the map. Slowing himself down here. Vikings going to be pushing him. We do catch a Viper. May even catch a second Viper, actually. Good power bombs here on the Vikings. And Serral getting ready for a dive. Catches some tanks. 2 tanks go down. Decent fungal, but it's going to be a crucial loss there for Serral, losing one of those infestors. But again, slow and methodical engagements out of Serral, picking apart the army. He connects with the Banelings! Cure a little bit distracted. Takes Banelings to the face. Not like this. As he is still breaking through. At the same time, Serral trying to catch reinforcements. He has another infestor. Ling Bane collapses on the Marines and the Ghosts. And Serral from both ends, he collapses on this army. And he will clean this up. Another fungal, just barely. So I can't believe Serral's been able to pull this off. This has been insane. For the past 5 or so minutes. Serral has been terrified of the fight. He saves the base. The hatchery lives on barely any HP. And just like that, Cure has to retreat. More Vipers are on the way. Plus 3 upgrades on the horizon here for Serral as well. Cure, he does retreat. Now suddenly, Serral is the one with map control. As he does threaten this base, and he's going to be forcing it out. Forcing it to back up. Now, Cure once again going for drop play. He has a double jump towards the south and a double jump towards the north. Oh, but the yoinks! Oof. The medevacs are being shut down. Aye, aye, aye. The one towards the north has potential, definitely. That base looking very exposed. Likewise, Cure trying to set up his 5th base. Mineral line is going to be going down. 7 drones full. Good pickup here by Cure. It's getting damage done. Once again, I do love that Serral is already working towards +1 air attack. So he's getting ready for that Corruptor transition in case Cure gets into mass lib. Oh, it's being yoinked once again. 2 full medevacs. They do go down. Serral is going to keep on pushing. Heads towards the 3rd. Tanks not quite in position. They're a little bit further back. 9 SCVs go down. Is just going to be expanding elsewhere towards the south instead. Now he has gotten this center base up and running. This base is quite crucial actually for Cure. It's going to be a staging ground for the next couple of fights. It has of course Rich Vesting Gas Geyser. So a big base here for Cure. We'll see if he can hold on to it. See if he can hold. As this base is going to be denied. Serral setting up here to just collapse on that base. Yeah, the CC, the planetary. It's going to go down. The Balins, they crash on in. And that's the goal here for Serral. Like, Serral's win condition is deny that center base. Over and over again, deny the 5th. That's all he needs to do. Professor coming in, does get spotted. Clutch scan out of Cure. Balin's going to be rolling on in. Is this an overextension from Serral, though? Good concave out of Cure. He cleans up the Ling Bane and he pushes back those Hydras. For the first time in a long time, that was actually a pretty good fight for Cure. He does have a bit of momentum. He does force his army back. Banelings are still on the way. Oh, is Cure overextending though? Because the Banelings are about to finish. Do finish in time. Cure, he has to respect it. He has to calm things down. Tanks are pushing forward. This area is so open though. It's so wide open. Tank gonna be falling. Liberators have arrived, but they get shut down instantly. Once again, a good setup here. A good pullback from Cure. Able to deal with most of those Banelings. This area might be wide open, but ideally we're looking for surrounds. We're looking to catch the army on creep. Ooh, that center base for Cure is not a planetary yet, which means only a handful of Lings are needed. Hatchery finally goes down, but the Lings, they get into the mineral line. The SCVs are falling. I believe bottom right isn't a planetary either, right? Yeah. Oh god! The orbital's not like this. All it takes is a handful of Lings here. 12 SCVs go down. Once again, we're looking for a juicy fungal. The army is so bunched up. And again, in a moment of desperation for Cure to quickly expand, like these bases are exposed. They are his orbitals. Banelings, they catch a couple of free mules. They collapse on some of these marauders. Banelings, they do peel off. The Lings at least do. Into the mineral line. Forcing back the army. Another Ling counterattack as well. And these Ling run-bys are doing so much here for Serral. Getting another 10 SCVs. The base itself may go down. It does! The lift wasn't there. Again, Kyr's attention's being pulled apart. We collapse on the main army. We pick off a couple of tanks. Serral still has a massive bank. Scan does a really infester. Good snipe. Snipe from Kyr. Bling run-bys, they don't stop. We can catch a tank. Oh, multiple tanks actually. Run-bys, they just continue to arrive. 2 tanks go down. A couple of reinforcements. A couple of Marines, Marauders. This positioning isn't looking too bad for Kyr. God, those medevacs are so low. You can see him once again just running back home here, exposing those tanks. A bit concerning. I mean, Kyr is taking down bases, to be fair. He has brought down 2, soon to be 3 hatcheries. And it looks like the main army, the tank, is going to be able to evacuate. The tank's going to be able to pull back. But not a bad moment for Kyr. We can see, though, that Serral has just been pulling back, refining his army, taking up into Broodlords. We catch the tanks! I spoke too soon. I assumed that they would be able to make it out, but no. They're going to get caught out here. 2 tanks go down. And we're going to get the 3rd tank as well. And Kyr just spread a little bit too far thin. Now, at least these bases are up and running. Kyr, he can sustain himself. He's maxing out. Kyr, he's still in this. Like, the fact that those 2 bases are up and running is massive for him. Just needs a good fight. Oh, but the Broodlords are amassing, and so far, I don't think they've been scouted. Oh. There we go. The scan does reveal the Broods. Drones are falling here. Would you get into the middle line? 12 workers go down. Kyr, he's fighting back. He's fighting back, but here come the Broodlords, and we shut down 1, 2, 3 tanks. The base! No shot. Is it going to go down? It does. The base does fall. You can see that blob just evaporate on the minimap. The CC does crumble. At the same time, though, Serral also loses a base. The Ling run-bys, they just don't stop. They don't stop coming. Got another 10 workers. Aye. Not just 10 workers. We dive on top of the would-be 6th CC. 5th CC even. Serral does force a cancel. Thor production has commenced to deal with the Broodlords, but it may be a bit too little too late. As, yeah, we're just picking Kyr apart here, whether it's the economy or whether it's the army. Whether it's the tanks specifically. Now again, at least Kyr has been able to knock down some of these bases, is making this closer than it otherwise would be. We're even getting some drones here in the center of the map. Kyr popping up. Denies the base. Gets some workers. Serral has been still very tentative when it comes to engaging, and another hatchery is going to go down. Serral has to respect this army, has to back up. And there's still a lot of potential in Kyr's army. Still an army that Serral is respecting quite a bit. But he's getting ready for Serral. It's collapsing on this position. Here we go. Now he commits to a fight. Serral will be committing big blinding clouds here on top of the tanks. The Pyro army does get on top of the Hydras, though. A lot of Hydras are falling. It's going to be only Broods remaining. Only Broodlords left. And a handful of units on the ground. A big fungal. The fungals go off. And we're barely breaking through. Do we have detection? Uh-oh, we don't. No detection. The ghosts are still alive. Very messy trade. We need... There we go. 4 Overseers on the way. The Vikings, they push through. There's no anti-air. The Vikings and the Liberator, they get another loot. They get another Brood. The Brood goes down. Serral, he's burning through his bank. But alas, unfortunately, Cure doesn't have a bank. That was his army. That was all he had left. That was all that he had remaining here. Just because he's been losing so many bases and so many SCVs. Serral is remaxing Cure cannot. If only Cure had a base. If he had a mining base behind this, then sure. Like, with that we could have sustained ourselves. We could have kept things going. But still more SCVs go down, and the battle of attrition was won here by Serral. Once again, it's a pretty similar kind of playstyle. 2 games in a row. If you were here for game 1, you would have seen that, likewise, Serral, it was like a 30-minute game, and for most of that game, Serral, he avoided fights. He just avoided the main army, just constantly harassing. Similar here, where here he did collapse at the end with his Broodlords. Did have one big fight, but up until then, he's just been harassing. Just been focusing on shutting down bases, mineral lines, tanks, picking away at Cure. And as I say that, another base is going to be going down. Another center base, no! It's going to fall! Yeah, too many Hydras, too much DPS. And with that, Serral is going to snowball out of control. We are just out of steam, out of money, out of resources. GG gets called, and Serral will take game number 2 in the series, 2-0. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Serral will be joining the rest of the qualified players. Serral, he'll be joining players like Maru, Hero, and Dark. Maru, Hero, Dark, and Serral are the 4 players to advance on into the playoffs. And we are only halfway done. Up next, we have 3 more matches. Reina versus Max Pax, Oliveira versus Classic, and Solar versus Shin. At the end of the night, we have 3 more matches back to back to back. We are wrapping up round 4 tonight. It's a lot of caustic. it's a lot of caustic, Bobby. A lot of caustic. So we're going to be going on a short break. If you're a fan of Cure, do not fret. Cure is not eliminated. He is going to be playing again in a couple of days in round 5. He has one more chance, one more shot to make it into the playoffs. So we'll be seeing Cure again in a couple of days. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Reina versus Max Pax. See you soon.